From dawn till dusk, have you ever experienced a kind of love so profound that it feels like your whole world, a love that you would do anything for and who you would sacrifice anything for? Well, this is the story of a very special kind of love. Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there lived a king and queen who were known for their unmatched love for each other. Their bond was the talk of the town. People from neighboring kingdoms would come to witness the genuine affection they shared. One day, the queen got pregnant, and soon enough, a beautiful baby girl was born. She was named Aurora, meaning dawn. The little princess grew up to be as beautiful as the rising sun and as gentle as the morning breeze. But most importantly, she had a heart filled with kindness and empathy. She loved everyone, including animals. When Aurora turned 18, the king and queen decided to hold a grand ball, inviting all eligible princes from neighboring kingdoms. All of them wanted to marry Aurora, but she had her eyes on someone else. She had fallen in love with a young man named Philip, who wasn't a prince. Philip was an ordinary commoner, honest and hardworking, known for his carpentry. Unlike the princes who came from wealthy families, Philip was poor. Despite this, Aurora loved him dearly. However, the king and queen didn't approve of their relationship. They wanted their daughter to marry a prince for political reasons, so they commanded Aurora to be locked in a tower away from everyone, including Philip. In the tower, Aurora found a window where she could watch the sunset and think of Philip. She missed him terribly. At night, she would hear the sound of the flute and believed that it was Philip's way of visiting her. She hoped that one day she would see him again. Meanwhile, Philip couldn't bear to stay away from Aurora. He climbed the tallest tree near the tower and sat on its branches. There he would sing songs, hoping that Aurora would hear him and come down the tower. One night, unable to control his feelings anymore, he shouted, "Aurora, I love you." When he said these words, Aurora leaned against the window and answered, "I love you too, Philip." Hearing this, Philip jumped into the courtyard of the tower. The moment Aurora realized that she could no longer live without Philip, she jumped off the tower. Luckily, Philip held on to Aurora's hand and both of them survived the fall. The couple promised to always be together. They left the kingdom and eventually settled in a small cottage away from the prying eyes of others. Years went by and they had a son whom they named Solace, which meant sun. One day, a king and queen were passing by the cottage and saw the happy family. They recognized Aurora and asked her why she left the kingdom. Upon hearing the tale of her forbidden love, the king and queen felt remorseful. They realized that they had been unfair to their daughter and invited her back to the kingdom. Though reluctant, Aurora agreed. She knew that she owed her happiness to Philip, and he would understand. Meanwhile, when king and queen told the people about Aurora's return, everyone began to prepare for a grand welcome. People were decorating the city and arranging for a huge celebration. In the midst of all this, one person was missing. Philip hadn't been seen since Aurora left the kingdom. No one knew where he had gone or even if he was still alive. All they knew was that he had vanished without a trace. Concerned about Philip's disappearance, Aurora and Solus set out to find him. They wandered all over the kingdom asking about Philip, but no one had any news about him. Discouraged, they were about to return home when they met an old woman. The old woman told them that she knew where to find Philip. Intrigued, Aurora and Solus followed the woman. The old woman led them to a clearing in the forest where there was a small hut. She knocked on the door, and a voice from inside called, "Come in." When Aurora opened the door, she saw a man sitting by the fireplace. His back was towards her, so he didn't see her enter. Taking a deep breath, Aurora called out, "Philip, is that really you?" Startled, the man turned around, and it was indeed Philip. Overjoyed, Aurora rushed to embrace him. Philip, too, was happy to see Aurora and he couldn't believe that after all these years, they had finally found him. But the joy was short-lived. Soon, Philip began to shiver uncontrollably. Aurora and Solus rushed to his side, concerned for his well-being. "I'm fine," Philip managed to say, though his voice trembled. "I just need to get some rest." But as the night wore on, his condition worsened. Aurora stayed by his side, stroking his hair to comfort him. "I'm here, Philip. You don't have to be afraid," she whispered. Suddenly, Philip sat up. With a determined look on his face, he took Aurora's hand and said, "Aurora, my love for you knows no bounds, but I fear my time is running out. I want to spend my last moments with you. Please grant me this final wish." Aurora, sensing the gravity of the situation, asked, "What is it, Philip? You know I will do anything for you." Philip hesitated, then said, "I want to see the sunset one last time. I haven't seen it in years, and it would bring me peace." Aurora, touched by his request, gently replied, "Of course, Philip, we'll watch the sunset together." Philip smiled, grateful for her love and understanding. Together they stepped out of the hut and walked towards the highest point nearby. They sat down and waited for the sun to dip below the horizon. As the sky blazed with hues of orange and purple, Philip's face lit up with a serene joy. Aurora held his hand tightly, sharing his happiness. They sat in silence, letting the beauty of the sunset fill their hearts. After the sun had set and the stars began to twinkle, Philip turned to Aurora. His voice was weak, but his eyes shone with love. "Thank you, Aurora. This was the perfect ending to my life. To be with you as the sun sets and the stars come out is more than I could have ever wished for." Tears welled up in Aurora's eyes as she watched Philip take his last breath. Surrounded by the beauty of the night, he had found peace. Though grief-stricken, Aurora knew that Philip was in a better place now. She had lost a great love, but his memory would forever be etched in her heart. The next morning, Aurora and Solus returned to the kingdom. The king and queen were overjoyed to see them. They welcomed Aurora and Solus warmly and embraced them as their own. Though a shadow of sadness hung over them, the king and queen understood the depth of their loss. They offered their support and love during the difficult time. Aurora shared Philip's story with the kingdom, and everyone was deeply moved by the tale of forbidden love. Philip's selfless love and sacrifice touched their hearts, and they mourned the loss with Aurora and Solus. In time, the pain eased a bit, but the memory of Philip never faded. The people of the kingdom remembered him as a man who loved deeply and selflessly. Years passed and Aurora grew old, but despite the wrinkles on her face and the gray in her hair, her eyes still held the sparkle of her youth. She had loved fiercely, and that love had left an indelible mark on her soul. The story of Aurora and Philip serves as a reminder for all of us. Love is a powerful force that can unite and heal. It can also transcend boundaries, defying even death itself. The love between Aurora and Philip was extraordinary, and their story continues to inspire people to be bold in their pursuit of love and to cherish every moment with those they hold dear. So whenever you find yourself in the labyrinth of life, remember the tale of Aurora and Philip. Let their unwavering love guide you, urging you to be fearless in expressing your emotions and to never let go of hope. For hope, like love, has the power to conquer all.